Right. If you had asked me what comic I would choose to look at in correlation with yesterday's unboxing, I would never have predicted I would end up looking at the Taken A.I.M crossover. This story arc sucks, and I don't really like reading bad comics. But this is Avengers 385, the issue that was not included in the Captain America Epic Collection. This is part one of a two-part prologue to Taken A.I.M, a crossover between Captain America and the Avengers. And they collected the second part, but not this. If you are wondering why, it is because this doesn't have any copy on the cover saying that it is part of Taken A.I.M. I had hoped we were past that point of shitty editing and research with the collected editions department. But no, we're still in full swing of the Tom B. Vogt history of comics. Don't matter what is in the bastards, it's whatever is on the cover that informs knowledge and continuity. Part 2 does say Taken A.I.M prologue on the cover, and it prominently features Red Skull Man. But they don't read these, because that issue continues straight on from the cliffhanger of this one. And when it comes to covers and information on covers, 90s 4 is on this cover, and he isn't in this issue. He actually won't appear in the Avengers title again. This erroneous cover appearance is his final appearance in the series. Our art team here is Mike Deodato Jerk with Sal Buscema, brother of John Buscema, and we have Tom Palmplanner on inks, making the shifting between the two artists almost seamless. There are pages like this. This is a tremendous splash page, by the way. At first, I would have thought it was Mike Deodato Jerk, but I'm not so sure now. I like it too much, and the ips aren't as intense as he usually has them be. But I would say it is him. The face, especially the eyes, are the giveaway. Wonderful page though. Scarlett Johansson, great shot of her. Very well done page. Ones like this are clearly Mike Deodato Jerk, because Sal Buscema, B-O-J-B, wouldn't do these sort of pointless, non-traditional panel shapes, or these badly framed close-ups at the bottom of this page. What we are seeing here is Scarlett Johansson is meeting with her odd acquaintance, Ivan. I have a vested interest in Ivan. Ivan was very, very prominent in the Daredevil comics with Scarlett Johansson as the co-lead. He was a chauffeur, an all-around personal aide. Bizarrely, this old Russian man was practically a third main character in Daredevil's title. He would fucking fight the supervillains, and the way he was incorporated into it gaslit me into thinking that Ivan must be a tremendously enormous part of all of Scarlett Johansson's appearances. The truth is, he barely appears outside of Daredevil. Actually, he was in Champions. He was in that quite a lot too. That further cemented my belief that he was integral to Scarlett Johansson. And he is. Or he should be. He is effectively a foster father. But he almost never appears after the Bronze Age. He was introduced in the Scarlett Johansson solo stories in Amazing Adventures. Then he appeared in Daredevil for about 3 or 4 years. And then Champions. Then almost never again. God, finding cutaways for that is ganning to be a bitch. I don't think he is ever on the actual covers. As someone who was tricked into thinking Ivan is more important than he ever wound up being, I must admit, I do feel a sense of reunion here. Hey, look, guys, Ivan is back. Remember Ivan? Remember how in 2009 they randomly made him into a villain now and killed him off straight away? We don't often get to acknowledge that I have read all of Daredevil, and I read it all over a decade ago. And those are the sort of comics I have misplaced nostalgia for. Not for the stories themselves, which were often bad, but for ideas or characters from them. I don't really like Daredevil, but I had read all of his comics because I downloaded them all back in 2010. Ivan's English has improved a lot. He is using contractions and shit now. This was teased in the previous issue. This meeting, not Ivan's grasp of grammar. We saw Scarlett Johansson on the phone at the start of a scene. Isn't that a tantalising bit of plotting? Who could she be on the phone with? Is it AT&T? Is she speaking to someone about missold PPI? No, it is Ivan from the Bronze Age of comics. Hi, Ivan. Too much of this Avengers issue has been made talking about Ivan. Not only is he not that important to Scarlett Johansson, but he's not even that important to the Taking A.I.M story. The Avengers are going to Canada to investigate weird energy readings, because without their own title, Alpha Strike no longer exists apparently. It is the oldest plot mechanic in the book, going to investigate new or errant energy readings. We switch to Buscema art as Ivan is attacked by an off-panel assailant that the cover to the next issue that I showed earlier gave away. It's Red Skull Man. I am surprised this wasn't the death of Ivan. He had really fell into disuse. I don't think he had a single appearance in the 80s even. It's the type of death they would do in the 90s. Kill off the no longer in use secondary character and use it as further characterization for Scarlett Johansson. The thing is, I'd have preferred he died here than have his next appearance be what it was. Oh God, after that, his brain was harvested by a bad guy as well. This period of Avengers is interesting because the stories aren't good, due in part to Bob Patrick Harras being too busy to really give time to the title. But the team is decent. The dynamics are present. There is intriguing ideas, like the mysterious door in the basement of Avengers' house that they don't know what is behind it. On paper, this era should be fine. We have good characters, and yes, I am controversially including Life Cry among those characters. We have a dependable, if not ideal, artist with Mike Deodato jerk. And it's just devastating that what we get is nonsense like the cross-dressing or taking A.I.M. And the other thing we get is quickly resolved afterthoughts like the Hercules Man one, which was the issue before this. It abruptly brought his relationship, an ongoing subplot, to an end and left nothing there for afterwards. It was barely a story arc in the end. I said the same thing about a Defenders issue, but this is another page I think you could take by itself and run as a house ad for the title or a preview. It's kind of fun and it establishes a lot. The Flash and Iris West with Life Cry, they are investigating the trans-temporal door that suddenly appeared in the basement of the new Avengers house, and it again proves to be mysterious and unfathomable. This time, due to a time flux, it breathes flames outwards. And you might enjoy that Life Cry gets burnt by it. I feel like I should be explaining some of these things, but it's not really important to the issue. The door is an ongoing subplot, and Life Cry, the issue, the story, it's not about her. She is an alien girl who joined the team. She is very 90s and people hate her for it. But me and Darth Knight, the subscriber, and maybe my other subscriber, Robin, the boy subscriber, we have some patience for Life Cry. Here's summit. This is a perfect example of everything wrong with this period of Avengers. This issue is decent setup. It sets up a story very well. I like this issue mostly. This is what Avengers is in 1995. We have good setup. We have ideas. We have characters in place. We have hooks and intriguing concepts. But it falls apart because there is no long-term plotting or even planning. We have great first parts, but then the story becomes a colossal mess with no actual resolution. I reckon I will have cut away to the cover to Avengers the Cross-Dressing #1 already in the edit by this point. Nothing represents all of it more than that story. Come to think of it, that was the overall approach at Marvel at the time. Do the setup and the story will make itself. We saw it with the Excellent Men, famously with Onslaught Man. We had great setup for that. and then it was an unplanned disaster. Ghost Driver, of course, that was probably the thing that began the entire wave of focusing on setup instead of payoff. It's just sad to see. Dumbo here, SHIELD agent Dumbo. I will mention again, there is a retcon, but not tell you what it is. It's terrible. Hercules Man is our other Avenger. We get acknowledgements to the absences of Captain America and Aunt Gordon. No mention of the Vision. They forgot about him, I guess. I like this team. This lineup for the Avengers. The Flash, one of my favourite Marvel characters. Iris West, a sadly overlooked member of the team. To me, she is as much a classic Avenger as Scarlett Johansson or maybe even She-Hulk's. Hercules Man, always fun. It is a strong team of characters, and I disagree with people saying it's a bunch of second stringers or C-listers just because Iron Man or Thor aren't there. Lifecry was usually left back at base. She was usually put on monitor duty. Some say she doesn't even count as a real member. Here is our thing, a giant crater. That is what the Avengers are here to inspect. It's like something straight out of some sort of new universe. The leftover energy fries the Avengers' jet and forces them to crash land. And so now they descend into this pit, leaving Hercules Man topside to stand sentry as backup. Yeah, leave the strongest one doing that. Not the fastest one who could quickly join you or alert you to any incoming threat. There is a spoiler on this page, so I feel less bad about showing the next issue's cover at the start of the video. For an issue that is the Avengers looking at it all, I prefer this to mangled time travel odysseys. They even have Hercules Man think about how humiliating it is for him to be reduced to standing back and not leading the charge. He no longer is a god, he is mortal. He still has super strength, I think at least. It's never exactly clear what him being made mortal means. He's still got the muscles. He's still on the Avengers. That is my rationalisation for his powers not being completely diminished or removed. He falls down anyway. He falls down the pit, survives the fall. So yeah, I would say his mortality is just that. He can die now. That's what I take it to mean. He supposedly has reduced levels of strength and power, but he's still surviving what is supposedly a 2-mile drop here. Anyway, boom, it is Red Skull Man. He is behind whatever is happening. Should this have been included in that epic collection? Absolutely. I don't believe any single one of you will be arguing, well, Captain America isn't in it. Why is that in a Captain America epic collection? We want more shit Punisher graphic novels. Not all the parts of the story arcs collected. I like my Fighting Chance Epic Collection to only have 6 of the 13 parts of Fighting Chance. I reckon this might be an area of contention, but judging this on its own merits, I quite like this. The story that follows is dreadful, but nearly everything in here would convince you that you were about to read something satisfying. Don't like the cover much. Pointless, innit? Says now 94 ain't even in it. I won't recommend this because if you read it, you probably are going to read the rest of the story. But as an individual issue, it's not bad. A 7 thumbs up from me. By the way, of course I made a taken A.I.M. Red Skull Man to fight my Cap Armor Captain America. What do you reckon? It is just an A.I.M. body, but I gave it a collar and I found a big gun for him. What's missing is he kind of has a blue harness on his chest. Come to think of it, even if there was a harness that I could use, I wouldn't be able to put it on this because of the collar piece. And just to correct, this was the shield that came with this Captain America, not the one I like, the shiny one. And this massive gun is from Cables, obviously, and the collar is from Squealy. And the head, the Red Skull Man head, that's actually the zombie Red Skull Man. I quite like it as a generic head for Red Skull Man.